Hello all, welcome home. It is a Monday and it is time for 10 minutes of truth with Supermex. And so we've had some heavy last few weekends, last few weeks in general. I'll remind that this is only 2 weeks ago, I was on air talking about sacrifices of our men and women in uniform, Memorial Day, that have sacrificed their lives, the ones that have died, not the ones that are living and still with us, but those who have died sacrificing their lives for this country. And that was Memorial Day. And on that same eventful, and not in an entirely good way, on that same eventful day, we had the murder of Mr. George Floyd. And 2 weeks later, fast forward to now, we've seen, and I will say, no hyperbole involved whatsoever, we are looking at a different time in our history. For those of you guys that wondered and what this new generation of young people would be in America, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. You may not like the result, but they're going to get involved and they're going to be heard. And I think it's a good thing. They needed something. They want something. They want something to be theirs. They're called to action. They're called to arms. They're called to their place in our American history. That's coming. So for tonight, real quick, 10 minutes of truth. So what I want to do is this is a bit of a kickback and a bounce back to 1 month ago. We were talking not about George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and being murdered on the street, but we were talking about the coronavirus and the resulting responses from multiple world leaders all over the globe, and just quite simply with analysis and numbers, eyeballing who did a good job and who did not get a good job. This is just like classroom, ladies and gentlemen. Someone gets an A because they worked hard and someone gets a D or an F because they didn't. Sorry, I've got my red pen here for you. This is what it is. Okay, there's no games here. This is 10 minutes of truth. There are no lies here. This is truth. Okay, so what we did was I put wanted women world leaders. But before we get that, and we get into today's show, it's going to be wanted. I'm going to show you a reboot to what we did that show 1 month ago. Today's show is going to be unwanted world leaders. We'll get to that in a second. But before, I'm going to lay up on you a caveat, a fair warning, and a stop sign before we get started, because I think it's kind of funny, but you almost have to do this because you need to remind people of what really is right and wrong, in the country we're living in, and just in general, just being a good person. So I went to, and this is in my group, but I went to an old friend of mine from a long time ago and pulled him up and got a quote. Here's my dog, the Duke. Just because I disagree with you doesn't mean that I hate you. And this is entirely something that this country and we all need to relearn in this society. The Duke, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean that I hate you. Entirely not. We need to relearn that in our society. Those of you who know me and know me well enough know that I don't do hate. It takes entirely too much energy to continue with that. I say what I believe. I listen to what you believe. We work out and we figure out what's the best method and metric to go forward. So reminder, from now on, remember the Duke, what he said, because he's all American, he's telling you the truth. Okay, so before we get started and as we get into this, so I told you this is a bit of a redo because I had a lady ask me about the show from 1 month ago, Wanted Women World Leaders. Great show, loved it, all true, all factual. And I pointed out 7 women that have absolutely kicked virus on this planet during the pandemic. One of them in particular is garnering a lot of attention. I do, and I can say it now, being an old historian, she will be written about in a positive manner on a leadership level. Okay, it's Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand. I will say as of right now, and I want you to be 100% clear, okay? I've been monitoring her the whole time as this coronavirus has gone through and run its course and still running a course, about to get another second burst of wind, not good. But Mrs. Ardern has presided over a time where the total number of deaths in New Zealand due to the coronavirus is 22, ladies and gentlemen. 22. Total. You heard what I said. Not 2,200, not 22,000. 22 total deaths. 22 Kiwis that have died because of the virus in this entire time. Step further. Over the last 2 weeks, count them 2 weeks, 13, 14 days, New Zealand has reported no new cases of coronavirus at all. And then as of yesterday, and we're going to pull this up in a second, as of yesterday, Mrs. Ardern has announced that there are no longer any cases, ongoing or new, of the coronavirus at all in New Zealand. And they are proceeding with a smart, clean plan to reopen everything and resume business as usual. What I'm about to show you is a 1-minute clip from Ms. Ardern making that announcement. What I'm also doing today on 10 Minutes of Truth is I am showing you the voice and the face of what leadership really, really looks like right now. She's badass and kicking virus. She's already kicked virus. Gone. Let's go ahead and hit that clip.
Hospital for COVID-19 for 12 days. It's been 40 days since the last case of community transmission, 22 days since that person finished their self-isolation. And so today, I can announce that Cabinet has agreed we will now move to level 1 to get our economy fully open again, and we will start almost immediately. We move down to COVID-19 alert level 1 from midnight tonight. We are confident we have eliminated transmission of the virus in New Zealand for now, but elimination is not a point in time. It is a sustained effort. We almost certainly will see cases here again. And I do want to say that again. We will almost certainly see cases here again. And that is not a sign that we have failed. It is a reality of this virus. But if and when that occurs, we have to make sure, and we are, that we are prepared.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the voice in the face of a leader telling you the truth, acting swiftly, acting aggressively, and acting in the interest of her people. Not pinching a penny or a buck, in their case, not a buck, but not pinching a penny to try to downplay, minimize, excuse, or pretend that it doesn't exist or that the extent of the virus was not significant. And clearly, as we have learned in the United States, it is and was and remains significant. In our case, to the tune of over 110,000 deaths of Americans. Juxtapose that with 22 Kiwis that have lost their lives. I'll say it, I don't care who doesn't like it. Facts are facts. As old Sergeant Friday used to say, just the facts, ma'am. And as John Adams always said, facts are stubborn things, okay? Because we have not done a good job, period. And if I had a red pen as a teacher, it'd be an F on what we've done, regardless of what people tell you. Okay, so let's do this. KP is going to pull up the 7 ladies that I pointed out and talked about and drew focus on about 1 month ago when we weren't dealing with Black Lives Matter and deaths in the street and protesting out in America, all good. And I pointed out these 7 ladies that have done a really, really good job of getting a handle on saving the lives of their citizens. And I don't want to go too far here, but I'm going to do it anyway because I always tell the truth. And if you want to hit me up for it, then I'm here for God and country to see. I honestly believe at this point, based on evidence, based on facts, based on numbers, based on lives lost, that the ladies on this list cared more about their citizens than other world leaders. They cared more. Now, if you think that's a bad thing for a female to care, then you're stupid. You're dumb. I genuinely believe that. They cared more than the guys that I'm about to show you because the evidence is overwhelming in their favor. They saved the lives of their citizens in mass numbers. In mass numbers. The guys didn't do such a good job. So this is wanted world leaders. I'm going to show you unwanted world leaders. Ooh, that's going to hurt, ain't it? That's going to hurt you. Some of you anyway. I just placed the facts in front of you. Okay, what you have on the screen right now are 4 gentlemen that have presided over 4 of the worst examples of leadership during and dealing with the coronavirus pandemic globally. And if you notice, each of those gentlemen is from 4 entirely different continents Got South America, North America, Asia, and into Europe. Okay? If you want to, let's like put a name on it, right? Because you know I'll do it. United States, our president, Donald Trump. Russia, Vladimir Putin. In China, Xi Jinping. And in Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro. And by the way, as of right now, Bolsonaro, I mean, that guy's a piece of work. That dude, he's trying to out-Trump Trump with the how badass I am and how great I am, how tough I am. It ain't going to bother me. It can't hurt me. It's nothing. They're spiking astronomically right now in their coronavirus deaths and their handling of it. It's getting bad. I've got Supermex Nation members in our group that are from Brazil. And those people are suffering. Their people are suffering because of poor leadership. There are in excess of 30-something, again, closing on 40,000 deaths now. Second only to who? The United States, of course. And I'm not even happy to say that, of course, because we have failed in our response to the coronavirus and how we handled it. They made decisions based on other things. Not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. 4 guys, 4 gentlemen, 4 men. They're tough. They're bad. They're I don't even want to go into it. You get the point. They didn't think about their citizenry first. The ladies did. The ladies saved lives. These guys, not so much. You can disagree with me all you want. I refer you back to the initial opening image with the Duke, John Wayne. The facts are there, numbers are there, and they're not going away. History will be a cruel, emotionless, and ruthless judge of this time period when it comes to the leadership that we've had. There you go. I submit for your approval. If not, I submit for your recognition, at least, for unwanted world leaders, at least in the case of how do you handle a pandemic and how do you save the lives of your citizens? That is the question for you. Let's go ahead and put up the numbers, KP. I submit now for your perusal. United States, these are a little old, they're actually worse now. Donald Trump, 1,800,000 cases, creeping on 2 million cases. Deaths, we're in excess now of 110,000 Americans, by far the worst on the entire damn planet. We're still leading in this world, just not for the right reasons. Russia, Vladimir Putin, 423 confirmed cases, infected coronavirus, 5,000 deaths. I'll get to that in 1 second. China, Xi Jinping, 80,000, 83,000. It's closer to 90 now. Coronavirus cases, deaths, 4,634 to be referred back to. And then the aforementioned Jair Bolsonaro, Brazil, 526,447, 500,000 confirmed cases and climbing at an astronomical rate for poor leadership. 29, I think it's now up to 37, 38,000 dead Brazilianos. Dead. And I will say it because of inaction and poor leadership. I think I'll leave it at there. There's too many adjectives I can use. But real quick before we head out here, Russia and China. May not seem like a lot, but do any of you really believe those numbers? I know I don't. Also, 2 point, Brazil has officially, by Bolsonaro's orders, they will no longer be reporting accurate figures. They said they're just not going to do it anymore. So after that, we're not going to know what the real extent of the confirmed cases are and the deaths. That's about as dictatorish as you get. You don't want the truth, so deny people the truth. Don't tell them the truth, just eliminate it, don't report it, and hide it. If that isn't about as dictator-ish, authoritarian as you get, I don't know what is. Well, I digress. I refer you to the other 3 gentlemen on the page. Exactly. That's our show for you tonight, but I wanted to wrap up and touch back up on what I said earlier. It's not a coincidence. It's food for thought. I ask you the question generically, if not specifically. Look, go online, wherever you want, go to good sources, right? CDC or a good world source. Run down the list of the most confirmed cases, countries, most confirmed cases, and the most confirmed deaths. The gentlemen, you're going to see toward the top. The ladies, you're going to see more at the bottom. What does that mean to you? I'll tell you exactly what it means to you. and what it means to me and what it means for everybody else. The ladies saved lives. The gentlemen didn't. If anything, they increased the lives lost. You can quote me on that. I don't say anything that I don't believe, and I don't say anything based in fact. It's the truth, because this is 10 minutes of truth. I'll see you next week.